Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Wednesday. Interesting day at the moment. We're all sitting here waiting for the news that I think we all feel is pretty inevitable, don't we? That Arsenal's game tomorrow night against Liverpool, the first leg of their Carabao Cup semi-final, will be postponed. We haven't had official confirmation yet from the EFL, but Liverpool yesterday formally requesting that first leg was postponed due to what they say is a growing number of COVID cases combined with injuries and players being away unavailable. AFCON has left them without a number of players suitable to field a team in that game. Interesting one. This has been further developments. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp's out at the moment. Pep Lijnders, the assistant manager, who was due to hold a press conference today, he has now posted a suspected, as Liverpool say, COVID positive result. So that press conference has now been cancelled. Liverpool have also shut their training ground today because of a growing number of positive cases. I mean, it all just feels inevitable that this request is going to be granted by the EFL and the game will not go ahead. But we're still awaiting the decision. The EFL at the moment they say they understand that there is a need for a quick decision, but at the moment the request is still under review. By the time you're watching this video, we may well have found out and had confirmation that the game has been postponed. I can't see any way it's not going to be. I mean, personally, for me, I think this whole thing is just a mess in terms of when games are called off and when they're not. It just feels all very wrong. We know Liverpool have got serious injury issues at the moment. We know they're missing some of the best players away at the AFCON. And it just feels, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. There's no way for me that Liverpool can't put out a team. I can't imagine. They've got such a big squad. They've got youth players. They've got under-23s players. It just feels like they can put out a team for this. But the EFL have changed the rules. I know a lot of people are pointing to the Leyton Orient situation when they played Tottenham, and that game was handed to Tottenham because Leyton Orient couldn't field a team. That was last season, though. The rules have changed since then, and so it's not a case of just handing Arsenal a 3-0 win or something and going into the second leg. So what happened with Tottenham and Leyton Orient, that doesn't really have an effect on what happens now. The rules have changed since then for this season's competition. I just can't see any way it's gonna go ahead. I think we're all waiting for the inevitable. In terms of Arsenal's point of view, they can't do anything. It's totally out of their hands. This is a decision between Liverpool and the EFL. Arsenal, so they're obviously monitoring the situation, keeping an eye on what's happening. But I was just speaking to someone at Arsenal that I know today, and they were fully expecting the game to get called off, just like I am. So we wait and see, and then it's a case of, if it does indeed get called off, when is it going to be played? The second leg at the moment, which probably will end up being the first leg now, is due to be played at Anfield next Thursday night, and then you've got to find a way of fitting in the second leg at some point. And I think the EFL rules would just have to be that has to be before the final, which at the moment is in February. But then you look at the fixture calendar coming up, and it's very, very jam-packed. It's not going to be easy to find a way. Arsenal still got some other fixtures they need to fit in, so do Liverpool. So it's not going to be easy, and that's something that's going to have to be decided. But for now, at the time of recording this video, the game has not been called off. Mikel Arteta is due to have a press conference later today at London Colney. That is scheduled for 2 o'clock at the moment. That is still on because the game has not yet been called off. But obviously, by the time you're watching this video, that may well have happened, and we might find out the Arsenal press conference is cancelled, because if the game's called off, the press conference will be cancelled, because there's no reason for Arteta to face the media otherwise. So we wait and see on that one. But Liverpool having lots of problems at the moment. In terms of transfers, we are in the midst of the January transfer window. What, we're now 5 days into it. Nothing really happened at Arsenal yet, but something is about to happen, and that is Ainsley Maitland-Niles is very, very close to completing his loan move to Roma that we've spoken about in previous videos. That has really moved forward in the last couple of days. Again, by the time you're watching this video, it might even be confirmed. He is due, I believe, to be in Italy today to go through all the necessary medicals and finishing touches before completing that loan move. Interesting one, this, I have to admit. I said in previous videos I thought Arsenal would be mad to to let Ainsley go at this stage of the month. I can understand them letting him go at the end of the month when AFCON is well underway and Thomas Partey and El Neni are nearly back. But to do it now, especially before the Carabao Cup semi-finals, which you thought Maitland-Niles could be involved in, before the FA Cup game this weekend, which again you thought Ainsley Maitland-Niles could be involved in, it just feels odd, the timing. I'm really surprised by it. I thought they would wait until the end of the month, but they haven't. They've agreed something now. I mean, maybe Mikel is thinking, well, look, he's not going to get many minutes. He hasn't played many minutes, and I can understand that. I think it's a really good move for Ainsley, and hopefully he does really well there. I just think Arsenal have left themselves a bit light, and it just makes me think they have to get. Surely they have something lined up in terms of bringing in a replacement for Maitland-Niles, because it would make absolutely no sense for me at this stage of the season, when you've given yourselves a really good opportunity of having a good crack at the top four this season, to weaken your squad at this stage of the season. Yes, Ainsley hasn't played many minutes, we know that, but even so, he is a very valuable member of that squad, and he's always that sort of backup option that you have, and that you know, if something does happen, if you do lose a couple of players, you've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles there who can play in a number of positions and can play well in a number of positions. He's a nice backup to have, and so to let him go now at this stage of the season, it definitely weakens your squad. 100% it weakens your squad, even if he hasn't played many minutes this season. And it just, Arsenal have surely got something lined up, and I haven't heard that anything is very close for Arsenal to be doing something, but you've got to think behind the scenes they've got to have something under wraps. And it's not been reported anywhere really that Arsenal are really pushing for midfield. We've heard the links with Bruno Guimaraes. I've spoken about them before. This is a link that pops up time and time again. There is there is a relationship there with Edu and the agency with Bruno. He's a player that has been linked in the past, but I've always been told that it's not, that the links never really anywhere near as strong as have been suggested, certainly in Brazil and things like that. So, will you get him out of Lyon in January? Again, I mean, Lyon haven't had the greatest start to the season, and we know that French clubs do have money troubles, but are Arsenal going to go out and sign Bruno in January? I'm just not so sure. So, yeah, it really feels like a loan deal is something that would be much more realistic right now. There have been links with Wijnaldum, obviously at PSG now. For me, that's one that would certainly tick a lot of boxes for Arsenal, and that is something that you could imagine Ainsley Maitland-Niles going out the door and Wijnaldum coming in, someone who ready to hit the ground running, knows exactly what it takes in the Premier League, very experienced player, very good player. If that's something that Arsenal are working on behind the scenes, then I can totally understand that decision. But it just feels like that's the sort of thing Arsenal need to be doing, and surely are doing, if they're going to let Ainsley Maitland-Niles go. Because if it doesn't, it's just a move that really doesn't make sense to me, because they're weakening their squad just at a time when they're giving themselves a really good shot of pushing on for the top four, and you don't want to be weakening your squad at this stage. So they've got to have something done. And look, we've still got plenty of time left in the January transfer window, and good luck to Ainsley, because I hope it's a move that works out really well, because I like Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and going to Roma, working with Mourinho, it could be the making of him, and he could go out there and have a really good career in Italy, and steps things up. So I hope it goes well for him, so fingers crossed. And again, by the time you're watching this video, it might even have been confirmed, so if it has, then there you go. So that's the latest when it comes to Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Before I move away from transfers, just on Folarin Balogun, I think that loan move will be happening at some point. Certainly things are progressing pretty well with Middlesbrough when it comes to Balogun. Not done yet by any means, and there's plenty of interest in Balogun from other clubs in the Championship as well, so it's not done and dusted yet, but Middlesbrough are certainly pushing hard to get a deal done for Balogun, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens at some point relatively soon in the transfer window. It's not one, I can't see Balogun remaining throughout January and that being done right at the end of the month. I think it's something Arsenal have been working on for quite a while now with the various interested clubs. They've whittled it down to a few. Middlesbrough certainly one of those, and it could be something that be wrapped up relatively swiftly if all goes well. So that's certainly one to keep an eye on. Away from transfers now, good news, Mikel Arteta is back today. As I said earlier on in this video, he is due to hold a press conference later previewing the Liverpool game if it goes ahead. Obviously last week he did his press conference from home because he was isolating, but he is now back at London Colney. His isolation period has ended. He is back. Today is his first day back. We'll be meeting up with the squad, taking training, hosting his press conference. So that is good news. And we will wait to see if that press conference goes ahead. But great to see Mikel back. And hopefully that'll be the last time he has to spend much time off because of COVID. Because I think we all know he's been pretty unlucky when it comes to coronavirus, and hopefully he will be back soon. Lastly, before I go, not sure if you've seen it yet, this is something that has broken today, but Arsenal have been charged by the Football Association regarding Sunday. Was it Sunday or Saturday? I can't remember which game it was, which day it was. The Manchester City game on New Year's Day. They have been charged for being hit with a misconduct charge for failing to basically control their players after the 59th minute. And that isn't actually the penalty incident. That is actually the reaction to Gabriel's red card. So they've been hit by that charge. They've got till Friday to respond to that charge. I just want to read out exactly what the charge is. This is what the FA have had to say about it. They say Arsenal FC has been charged with a breach of FA Rule 20.1 following the Premier League game against Man City on Saturday. It is alleged that Arsenal FC failed to ensure its players conducted themselves in an orderly fashion during the 59th minute, and the club has until Friday to respond. I'm not surprised that Arsenal failed to have their players respond in failed to ensure its players conducted themselves in orderly fashion, considering what had gone on in that game. I think the FA need to take a long, hard look at their officials first before coming at clubs for having a bit of a go and reacting badly to some of the decisions. But we all know how this works, don't we? So we'll wait and see what Arsenal do with that. But I suggest a fine is probably coming their way for what happened after the Gabriel red card and the reaction to Stuart Atwell's decision. But there you go. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate your time. As always, like I said, do keep an eye out for that press conference later today at 2 p.m. if it goes ahead. And if not, then we've got a few more days to wait until the FA Cup game on Sunday at Nottingham Forest. I think Mikel Arteta will be speaking on Friday ahead of that one, should today's press conference be cancelled. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the sunshine, rare bit of sunshine at the moment, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.